the cringe apocalypse with Jason King. Go ahead, make his day.
There's got to be 100 reasons why I don't blow you away. Right now, I can't think of one.
In Dubai, but reality of it, I mean, I'm not going to eat for a week after this.
In the world's...
Now this weekend, or maybe even today, I will be revisiting the Fellowship of the Ring because I absolutely love that film. And yes, when you do watch that movie, it's got to be the extended director's cut. It's the only way to watch it. It's a fantastic experience, and it's just a beautiful, all-round, perfect movie.
The salted pork is particularly good. Salted pork.
Now, why I bring this up, you may ask, because Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim, was released last year to a thunderous fart of applause because the movie reportedly budgeted at $30 million, only recouped $18 million at the box office, not domestically, worldwide. And that's not a very good look for Warner Brothers, who are holding on to the LOTR license with the back of their claw-like hands. Well, Warner Brothers, just like Sony and most other film studios out there, are a bunch of dimwits. They have no clue what to do. In fact, even James Gunn's Superman film coming out this July might be running on troubled waters because some of the test screenings have not gone very well. And why I mention that film? Because that too is a Warner Brothers property that's summarily been triumphant, destroyed, regurgitated, and now we don't know what is actually happening. Between you and me, I think James Gunn is trying to not even rectify that mistake that Zack Snyder made by bringing the DCEU straight away when he hadn't had a chance to build up characters in their solo outings. I think he's trying to do that in a supposedly roundabout way, but I digress, ladies and gentlemen, because you have to watch this clip of an actress called Gaia Wise. Who?
In a world where 90% of the population are woke zombies, they chose Jason King on Kung Fu Hot Dog. He's the man with the plan, and that plan is boobies.
Watch this space.
The next half hour.
She brings you.
She is the lead as Hera in the War of Rohirrim.
I do not want to marry you.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So what was it initially?
And I gotta say, from first glance, Ms. Wise is rather... She's very pretty, isn't she?
That drew you to the project. That's not, I mean, Lord of the Rings.
It's not the obvious. The script. Yeah, the script was just absolutely beautiful. It was just filled with just beautiful imagery, beautiful characterization, and you know, the idea of being able to bring a really, really kick-ass female character to the world of Tolkien, I went, yes, please.
Yeah. What does it mean to you that like this could be a new generation's first introduction to Lord of the Rings?
I get goosebumps. It makes me so excited because, you know, we have wonderful female characters in it, but they feel fully fledged. They feel like, you know, they sort of know what they're doing.
Uh-oh, she's getting a little bit angry there. What's going on? Carry on.
But, you know, Eowyn has this real sort of tenacity and courage behind her that you see immediately. Whereas with Hera, I think it's not just, it's almost, it's a coming of age.
I mean, look, the animation for this Lord of the Rings film is not bad. It's not brilliant. I mean, they're trying to do like an anime style to it. I get that. Is she showing a bit of cleavage there? Like, whoa, man. I never noticed that before. But the movie's about 2 hours and 14 minutes long. So people are arguing for an animated feature that barely holds your interest. Why was it made that long? And Peter Jackson and Philippa Boyens, the people who worked on the original Lord of the Rings trilogy back in the day, are involved with this. It's not like they need the money, is it? Oh my God.
I think it's not just, it's almost like it's a coming of age, obviously under brutal circumstances, but it's still, you see her more from being this carefree princess to being someone who realizes what she needs to do and realizes what she will have to do for the rest of her life, which is be courageous for her people and look after her people.
Talk about.
And by the way, this is my first time watching this interview very cold, so I have no idea what the Screen Rant interviewer woman expects as an answer from Ms. Wise.
The horses, I mean, the Rohirrim. I wanted to see the Rohirrim. I wanted to see Helm in his element, you know. I mean, all of the sort of the sets that we're so used to seeing how.
So I don't know if this chick is actually versed on Tolkien because she's hesitating, she's been caught off guard, and whenever people say, oh, they're not really thought about it, and I'm sat there as a spectator saying, no, Gaia Wise, I don't know, what are you talking about, woman? So she might have some knowledge of Tolkien, maybe, but it's the same with that ridiculous actress from the Fallout TV show. She claims to play the games. I don't think she does, but she's an actress who's out there just to act in front of the camera. So whenever people say, actors or actresses say, oh, I've played this video game or I've read this comic book.
At least for me, and I love to throw myself into all of my research, but this was so fun. There's so much lore and so much passion behind the games and so many details. And
don't believe them. They're absolutely just telling you, so in the hope that you'll go along and watch it. But anyway, the reason for this preamble, folks, and you've got to laugh at this article when you see it, courtesy of the Fandom Pulse themselves. The Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim actress, well, she goes full mask off on this one because, first of all, it's a feminist attack, and secondly, because this animated movie set in the Tolkien universe does not pass the Bechdel test. If you don't know what that is, I've spoken about it before on my channel. It's where a film has at least two women who engage in conversation with each other. And I tell you what, if I see women blabbering on the screen and they have no chemistry whatsoever, or if I'm in a real life situation where I'm forced to listen to a woman talk my ear off, I'll just look for another TV monitor, put on the screen, and watch these lovelies instead. But back to the video, folks. So, yeah. The Bechdel test. So two chicks are talking, blah, 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 blah. And then they must have a conversation where men are not brought up. If you mention a man, you haven't passed the test. There's a bit of an irony about that as well, because the woman who the test is named after finds the whole thing embarrassing. She has said it was mentioned as a joke, but now it's been taken out of context, and they're now using it as a real life barometer about patriarchy versus matriarchy in your entertainment or literature. It's so funny. But let's walk on to this interview right here. Now, of course, this is Total Film Magazine. I don't know who this chick is. I think she's the interviewer. And isn't it funny that, and I always find this very disingenuous, when a actress is giving her feminine perspective on something that is objectionably bad in a previous film franchise, they don't have it in a fair state of play where it's a male interviewing her, because if it were, he might object to what she's saying and might challenge her. So if you get a woman who thinks the same way as you do, there's no challenge, there's just agreement. And I find that very echo chambery. That's what it is. Oh, beg your pardon, though. This is the tubby chick who's actually interviewing Gaia Wise. I don't know why I thought Gaia Wise was the interviewer. It's so silly.
His relationship was to the story.
It made me really happy. It made me really happy that it's, you know, we're finally telling the stories of especially the Shield Maidens, because they sort of float around in the trilogy, but they are so important to the lore. And it also made me excited because there'll be hopefully a generation of young girls who get to see this film and feel like they are seen and heard and empowered by it.
Yeah, let me out of here! I can't watch another second!
Oh boy. This chick has never lived in the 80s or 90s, has she? You know, you've had people like Gina Davis on The Long Kiss Goodnight. I would say one of the first type of Black Widow films before Marvel decided to bring their own live-action version later on in Iron Man 2. So people don't talk about Gina Davis in that movie. I thought that's a great film, actually, directed by her then husband, and I've forgotten his name, Rennie Harlin. That's what I was thinking of. And yes, I thought I'd have the AI babe switched out to give this a more ethereal and Middle-earth kind of feel to the whole proceedings, because she's quite clearly dressed, or should I say undressed, for battle, and that's the way I like it. Pass that Bechdel test, why don't you? But going back to my original point, this thing about young women being empowered by an all-powerful female on the big screen. Well, funny enough, when Cara Dune was played by Gina Carano in The Mandalorian, I didn't hear people saying the same thing about her portrayal. I'm sure there are millions of girls out there, young teenage girls, whatever, who looked up at Cara Dune and thought, yeah, she's a badass. But then again, folks, the question I need to ask you is, do you have a daughter who cares about these type of things? As a guy who grew up in the 80s, I never saw girls my own age thinking, I'm going to be a WWE wrestler. I'm going to do construction work. I don't think normal women actually care about being empowered by somebody seen on the big screen. I think if you're a successful businesswoman like Karen Brady, who is the director of Birmingham Football City Club, right? If you look up to someone like her, then you might feel inspired. I think the whole empowered word is very overused, is very cliched. It's a non sequitur. That might be the wrong way of using that word, but I don't really care, folks, because yours truly is on an absolutely fabby-dabby roll. But listen, if you enjoyed this video today, and yes, I think the actress of Gaia-wise, it's a bit clickbaity. She's not really full mask off on the whole feminist angle of it. It's a little bit in there, but I think it's more the Screen Rant interviewer who's kind of pushing the narrative there, because they have to do that for clicks, right? But on that one, folks, if you were me and if I were you, please return, why don't you, for the episode of my next video. I almost mucked up that outro there, but I got through it because these tits right here are absolutely so distracting.
Hey, Stewie, 3 o'clock. Time for The View. No, not again!